Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a lifestyle Q&A, sharing all of my answers to the questions that y'all asked me over on Instagram. I thought this would be a nice way to kind of like share updates with y'all. It's been a very long time since I've done one of these videos, and it also felt like the appropriate forum to kind of tell y'all some of the big life changes that I'm going through at the moment. I have kind of teased y'all, I guess, in the past few vlogs talking about how I'm going to be sharing information with you, and it just never felt quite right for a vlog setting, which isn't to say that I am uncomfortable sharing this information. I didn't want to bring the vibes down, you know? But I'm ready to bring those vibes down in this video. It's going to be a mix of things. Some of it's going to be more lighthearted, some of it's going to be more serious, but if you've been kind of curious what's been going on lately and why my posting has been less frequent than it usually is, you're going to find out in this here video. I'm breaking up the questions into specific categories, which I'll timestamp in the description, and obviously like you can skip around if you'd like to. However, I would recommend watching this video linearly because a lot of the questions kind of like fade into the next question. I've broken this down on purpose, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I would recommend staying till the very end, hear all the life updates if that is something you're curious about and you want to just know a little bit more about me. So I'm sharing a ton of stuff. This is going to be probably a pretty long video, but I will try to keep my answers as appropriately brief as possible. We'll see how that goes. So the first category of questions that I'm going to be answering are kind of creator and content questions. What camera do you use for your booktube content? The camera that I'm actually filming on right now is the Sony ZV-1. I love this camera. I actually have a Rode Video Mic Go 2 or something like that on top of it. I am a really big stickler for audio quality. I also have a couple of other cameras in my lineup that I use less frequently for things like sit-down videos. So I have a Canon 90D that I like to use whenever I am filming in my office and doing those like big list videos. The battery in this camera sadly just like won't last for that sort of situation, and this one is just slightly less great in quality, though I still think the quality is pretty great. So I would say if I'm recommending one camera for a booktuber, it would definitely be this one. Has your family always supported your channel, and was it hard during university? I think that question, the was it hard during university part, is maybe asking like how having YouTube was when I was in college, and I actually didn't have YouTube in college. I started right after I graduated from my master's program at like 23. And then has your family always supported your channel? I think had I started at a different time, that probably would have mattered to me a little bit more. Like had I started in high school or college, I probably would have cared more about like my parents' support and kind of what they thought. And my parents are very supportive in the sense that they tell me I should go after whatever I want, but they also don't care a ton. And I don't mean that in a bad way. They're just not like watching my YouTube videos or really making comments on the fact that I make YouTube videos. They've always been like, okay, that's cool. Like you have a hobby, that's fun. And I think I like that approach. Like I don't want my parents watching every one of my videos, especially considering like the topics that I talk about. They're also not like, oh, you shouldn't be making videos either. They've always been like supportive, I guess, in the sense that they tell me I can do whatever I want. So that's been pretty nice actually. They tend not to discourage me from going after things they haven't historically, but they also don't get too invested in the things that I'm doing, and there's something to be said for that too. That's pretty nice. Who do you follow on BookTube, and which content creator do you admire most? This question's kind of tough for me because I think, as we'll get into in other like questions later on down the road, I have been watching a lot less book content lately, and there are multiple reasons for that. One, my interests are just expanding. I have a lot more things that I'm interested in now, which I'm actually really excited and proud about. Like I think when I first started, I only cared about books. It was all that was in my life, and now there's just so much other stuff that really excites me and interests me. And I also think when you're in more of a niche space, sometimes watching too many creators who do similar things to you can make you feel inadequate or get you comparing yourself to other people. So I don't watch a ton of book content anymore. I am still subscribed to all of my faves, and if I'm in the mood to watch book content, the creators that I tend to watch most often are Erin from Booked and Busy, Olivia from Olivia Reads Latte, Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life, just to name a few. Like those are the ones that immediately come to my mind, and those are people that I like talk to fairly regularly as well. So they're just the people that I tend to like and admire, watch frequently, and all of those creators have something so unique to offer and have a passion for YouTube that is different than my own passion. And I really like that. Like I don't want to watch people who do things exactly the same way that I do, and I like just seeing how other people are doing things. You are looking for a creator, I think, who is most similar to me in terms of taste in books and like what they're looking for in books. I would definitely say follow Crystal. If you are looking for someone who is a bad bitch when it comes to business, and I just admire the fuck out of them. Olivia, similar in terms of creatorship, I guess. Erin, I don't know, they're all amazing, and I love all three of them. So I would say those are the three creators I admire the most and watch the most. So yeah, I tend to watch people that like I actually talk to and interact with. Any advice for someone who's struggling to grow their YouTube channel? I think this is a tough question to answer because so much in the landscape of YouTube has changed over the past few years, especially considering the rise of TikTok. I really hate to give generic answers like just be yourself and just, you know, do you. My biggest advice to people who are struggling to grow their channel is really to consider why you're doing it. I think that really helped guide me when I first started. started. I think everybody starts YouTube for different reasons, and I think a lot of bookish creators start because they're looking to make friends. That's not a bad thing at all, obviously, but I think sometimes it's not going to guide you in a direction that is going to necessarily make your channel take off. Like, yes, you will probably have fellow creators watching you, which is also, you know, fun, and it's fun to like make friends. But I think if you're someone who is looking to grow your channel, the things that are going to matter are like you watching analytics, watching what the trends are, trying to not create a brand or like yourself into too much of a niche, but to really consider what you have to offer that's like maybe a little bit different than other people. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something super specific. It could just be your personality. But I think like actually sitting down and treating it like it's something serious, I think is the first step if you are trying to kind of grow your channel. That is something that always interested me, because part of the reason that I joined, and I'd say the biggest reason that I joined YouTube in the first place, was because yes, I loved books and wanted to share my love of books, but also I like making videos. That is like my favorite part of this. And that's why as my channel continues to evolve, I've never left YouTube because I like this format and this is exciting to me. So I don't know if that's like best advice ever or like the most helpful, but I would say, yeah, definitely consider why you're doing it and start to like tailor your content because of that. Don't be afraid to experiment, especially if you haven't been doing it for very long either. I think people can get too hung up on like certain video formats, and I think the thing that helped me the most was taking risks and just trying to understand who I am and like what people might want from me. Have you ever felt trapped in the sort of niche you've created on social media? I like this question because it feels like very aggressive, but deep in a sense. I don't think I feel trapped in like the sort of like book community, but I do think at times it can feel a little bit stifling. And I haven't always felt that way. I would say the first 3 years that I was on BookTube, all I wanted to talk about was books. And so I didn't feel trapped. It was something that I did for myself. But I'd say the past 2 years, it has been a little bit stifling to feel like I have to include books in every single video. I stopped making my more lifestyle content last year because I felt this pressure to finish books in those videos. And I think that the videos suffered because of that, because it was really trying to like cram content in a place that it didn't fit. So yeah, I do think in a sense, I don't feel trapped, but I sometimes feel stifled by the sense that like all I can talk about is books. And a part of that too is the fact that like as I get older, I have more interests. I think I started my channel when I first graduated grad school. At the time, all I really cared about was books. It was my single interest, my single focus, and I loved that all that my life encompassed was books. Like that was it. And now that I'm getting older and my life's changing and other things are important to me, it does sometimes feel a little bit stifling not to be able to share those things. And I also think you can only feel as stifled as you let yourself, right? And so you'll see a lot of changes in my channel in the coming year, probably, as I start to share other aspects and interests of my life. So when asked, would you consider showing more house content like decor and renovations? I love sharing that content with you. There are probably not going to be any more renovations that we do in this house. I don't know how much longer we are going to stay here, given, you know, the economy and stuff, probably longer than I would like, but we don't really have any plans to do any more renovations here because I've kind of done everything that I want to do. In terms of decor though, I would love to share more home decor stuff with you. And I think especially when like holiday seasons roll around, I love sharing that content. So that's definitely something that's going to be here on my channel. Do you have plans to do more planner content? I did not know I have a planner content channel called Plan with Chan. I've posted a few videos there, I think less than 10 at this point, and I really like filming those videos, but they are kind of hard to edit. It's just not a top priority for me because there's just so many different things that I feel like called to do and excited to do. Yeah, that's just kind of fallen into the wayside. I will definitely be filming more content there in the future, and I pretty much always do a planner setup video at the beginning of every year, but it's not like a super big priority for me at the moment, I would say. Would you consider doing more lifestyle content in your vlogs? And the answer to that is, of course, yes. I am going to be doing lifestyle vlogs on this channel. They might be completely devoid of books and bookish content, which is something I mentioned in the last vlog that I posted. That one did actually have some reading in it, but I don't want to feel the pressure to include books in every video, especially again considering the kind of major life changes that I'm going through. I want to be able to share that stuff and not feel like, oh god, I have to read a book as well. Next, let's move into the other categories. We have a bunch of categories to get through. The next category is work. What is your full-time job? What do you do? And that's totally valid. I do have a full-time job. YouTube is not my full-time job. Have a work from home job, which is really nice and affords me the ability to be able to probably spend more time on my content than I would if I was having to commute every day, which I'm really grateful for. I don't really talk about the details of my job, privacy and all that, but it is one of those jobs that your parents would tell you about, like, oh yeah, my mom has this job. I have no idea what she does all day. That's the kind of job that I have. In the past, I've had like sales jobs and just a bunch of different stuff. And right now I have a work from home kind of like hard to explain white collar job. I don't know, like corporate America kind of job. Someone asked, how do you find balancing work, YouTube, and reading? I'm assuming this person knows that I do have a full-time job. And for me, it has gotten easier over the years just as I get more experience in like my career field and in just kind of like the stuff that I do. I feel like I do have more time throughout my day to be able to find little pockets of time to film. That being said, like over the past 5 years, I have not really had balance, I would say. Like YouTube has always been my number one priority before everything else. And I do think that like some of my life has fallen to the wayside as a result. And that's something that I've been correcting for over the past like year. And I think that's why I post maybe a little less frequently, or there are some times when I just like, you know, don't post on a Sunday because I am trying to like prioritize for time spent with Hayden and the people around me. So I don't know that like I really have a recommendation for balancing things. I don't know that I like am very good at balancing things. I try my best, but I'm not the greatest at it. You know, again, for the first 3 years, I was so single-minded in growing this channel and in reading that like, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me that things weren't balanced, and I acknowledge it, and it didn't bug me. Now it bugs me more, but I am still so like grateful for that experience, and I don't look back and think like, oh, I should have been more balanced. Now I think is the time in my life that I'm sort of craving that. So I'll keep you posted if I eventually find balance or you know, really succeed at it. But I think sometimes things fall to the wayside and I just kind of let it. Next category of questions, marriage and babies. Let's talk about it. How soon would you want kids? Okay, let's buckle up. Let me get my leg up here. And so this is the big life update. Honestly, like I was prepared to talk about this and now I'm just kind of like, fuck, I don't even know where to begin. So, Hayden and I have been trying to have kids for the past year. As you can probably guess, that has not happened. So, at the beginning of this year, we basically started trying to have kids actually a little bit before we got married. Not like super actively, but we weren't, you know, preventing, if you will. We tried for about a year. Our anniversary came up in April, and around March of this year is when we decided, let's maybe get some testing done. And since it's easier for a man to get tested, less invasive, I was like, why don't we get you tested and kind of see where that leads? And then if nothing comes of that, then like maybe I'll start getting tested or, you know, whatever. So Hayden got tested, and it was sort of a multi-step process. All of this, I should say, I have run by Hayden, and he is like, share all that you want. Like, he is totally open about this. So I want to put that out there. He got tested. We did multiple rounds of testing, different kinds of testing for men, and we got very conclusive answers kind of about his fertility. And we found out that he is suffering from male factor infertility, which doesn't come as much of a surprise to us and was something that kind of spurred the testing in the first place, if that makes sense. Hayden had cancer as an infant. He had leukemia when he was 10 months old. He was part of an experimental trial. Most kids at his age, like most infants at that sort of like age group at the time, passed away from the leukemia. It was very, very deadly. And so he was part of a trial where they tested a new, more aggressive type of chemotherapy. And they said that there was a likelihood that, you know, could have children naturally. Like they said, it was likely that he would. He was the second person in that trial, and so they really don't have conclusive data. And we kind of do now have conclusive data, which is to say that he is suffering from infertility as a result of that chemotherapy. Nothing that he could have done to prevent that. It just affected the way that he developed. And as a result, we have to seek fertility treatment. No matter, you know, if I get tested and we also find out that there are like female factor issues, whatever, the only solution for us is IVF. He basically had a low count and low accompanying factors, I guess. I don't want to like get too into the weeds of it, not because he doesn't want me to share, but because I don't want to be demonetized. Basically, he has count issues, and it's nothing that can be fixed from surgery or with medication. It's just the way that his body was formed and developed after, you know, he had cancer. So it has been a lot to process, I won't lie. Obviously, I don't think anyone goes into having babies with someone or, you know, wanting to get pregnant assuming that they are going to deal with infertility. I don't think anyone thinks that. I'm very grateful that infertility is something that's talked about a lot more on the internet. It's definitely something that crossed my mind that could be a problem, and of course we got Hayden tested, so it was something that was top of mind for me. But yeah, I just obviously never anticipated that this would be how I would have to have children, but we have to do IVF specifically. I don't know if I already said that, but there's basically no other option. He does have count, like it's not, we're not necessarily going to have to use like donor materials that we know of yet. Given count numbers, it is straight to IVF, like there's no other option. And that has been hard to process. Like I come from a very extremely hyper-fertile family. I am about 99% sure that I don't have any issues, and if I do, I don't think those issues necessarily affect my ovulation, so I'm pretty freaking sure that I can get pregnant naturally. So it has been a lot to process, that, you know, through no fault of either of us really. I'm gonna have to stick myself with needles and go under general anesthesia and get my blood tested. I've never had a blood test done. I've never had my blood drawn. Like, I think I might have had my finger pricked when I was like 11, but I've never had like blood drawn from like my arm. Like I'm terrified honestly of the medical component to all of this. It has been, yeah, it's just been a lot to process. This is fairly recent news. We found out like conclusively that there was nothing we could do. There was about a month there where we like knew his counts, but we were like, oh, maybe there's something we can do, like, you know, medication or surgery. There's a month there when I was kind of hopeful. And then I think it was like May. Yeah, it was like late May that we found out that there's nothing we can do. And so for the past like, you know, few weeks, I've been kind of just sitting with this news and sitting with the reality of it. In some ways, I'm really grateful that I have answers, because I can't imagine how challenging it probably is to go to a fertility consultation, not know anything, and then have to like cycle through a bunch of different things that may or may not work. For us, like, again, no matter what happens with me, we will have to do this if we want to have a baby together. So at least I'm having time at this point to like process the fact that we're doing IVF. It's not like I'm having to process my own infertility news and then IVF. Yeah, I keep trying to think of the bright side and the silver lining, and really I am grateful that this is an option for us that we will be able to take on. Never expected this. I'm still pretty young. I'm only 28, and yeah, it's been pretty devastating. And I hope I talked about this as respectfully as possible, because I've watched so many people's stories online and it has been so hopeful and so helpful for me. But yeah, it has been really challenging, and I'm sharing this with you because this is something that I'm going to be talking about frequently on my channel going forward. I know that this is information that could be potentially triggering for people, so when I do include this in my lifestyle vlogs, I will make sure to timestamp whenever I talk about this information. But this is my life now. Like, this is something that I'm going to be taking on, and it is going to probably consume a lot of my life for the next 6 months to a year. So it would be strange to hide that from y'all. And I'm an open book for the most part. Like, I like sharing things with y'all. It doesn't really feel weird to be sharing this information. That is one of the biggest updates. There's another fairly big update that I'll be sharing later, but yeah, I do want kids soon, to answer the question. I do, and we'll see how soon that will be, and if it will be. You know, I'm not going into this with any expectations. I've watched so many videos at this point that I know that a lot of the time it doesn't work the first time. For some people it never works, and you know, I'm trying to go in positive but also realistic. So yeah, I'm going to share more details as I have them. I'm obviously going to undergo fertility testing, and if I, you know, have PCOS or endo or, you know, some sort of contributing factor, I'll be sharing that with you, and just sharing everything really along the way. So if you like that sort of stuff, stay tuned. If you don't, I really think that you'll still enjoy the lifestyle content. And again, I will timestamp stuff because I know that this is sensitive stuff, and some people have been through it and never want to hear about it again, and that is valid. So marriage and babies. The next question, the last question in this category really is, how have you felt being married now? And honestly, this has been the hardest year of my life, and it's not because of my marriage. If anything, my marriage has made my life so much better. First pet, my first cat passed away in September. We got this fertility news. Some other stuff has happened that I'm going to talk about in a second, and it has been really fucking hard. But being married to him has not been hard. It has been the best part, honestly, of this year. So, oh wow, okay. I forgot that I was going to double whammy myself, like, back to back with the hard stuff, but you know what, I think let's just get it over with. Okay, cats. Let's talk about cats. The first question is, tell me about your cats. And this is hard. Recently had to rehome Pickles. I had 3 cats for the past 9 months. I have Pepper, who is the oldest at 5 years old, and then Teddy and Pickles, who are technically around the same age, but Teddy I got first, and I got him as a baby, and then Pickles I adopted as an adult cat. I adopted Pickles the week before my oldest cat, Nugget, passed away. I fully intended to have a happy 4-cat household. I was so excited about it, and all signs were like really positive that this was going to work out. And then Nugget passed away. I didn't cope well, which is kind of part of this, but at the beginning, all 3 of the remaining cats got along really well. For about a month, they were playing. I have pictures of them cuddling on my bed, but I don't know what happened. Something changed at that month mark, and Pickles, anytime he saw Pepper, would try to attack him. I never really knew that there was like true cat aggression. Like, I've seen cats kind of tackle each other when they play, but I've never seen anything like this before, and it was worrying to me. After it happened twice, I knew that it was not okay to leave them alone together in any sense. So I separated them, and they were separated from each other for the entire 9 months that we had them. I did so much research on trying to like reintroduce cats and to get, you know, 2 cats who seemingly don't get along to get along. I got pheromone diffusers. I got Pickles on Prozac, fluoxetine, which was something that was recommended to me by a vet for aggressive cats. I did the formal introduction process as, you know, recommended by Jackson Galaxy, which is like, you know, site swapping and base camp and all of these different steps. And I tried so much for 9 months to try to get these 2 cats to get along, because Teddy and Pickles got along so well, and Pickles is and was the sweetest cat that I've ever had. Like, the kindest, the most affectionate, the most easygoing, just the most fun cat ever, but he could not get along with Pepper. And in February, I was feeling discouraged and defeated, and I didn't know like how long I could continue to try to introduce these cats to each other. It was just really, really hard. I think February is kind of when I knew that like something needed to change. I wasn't willing to admit it, I'll be honest. Like I wasn't willing to admit to myself that this just was not working. It was like my pride thinking like, oh, like I know cats, I can make this work. And it just didn't work. No matter what I did, it did not work. And it was not fair to have to swap the cats out throughout the day, have one cat basically be alone for part of the day because, you know, that cat didn't want to be attacked by the other one. I think for me, when I finally knew that I needed to like set my hubris aside and set my pride and ego aside was when we went to New York. Sister was watching my cats. She accidentally let Pickles out. He like slipped past her legs and went to attack Pepper. Neither of the cats was injured, but it was a really scary circumstance for her, obviously having to separate them and break them up, which she did successfully pretty quickly. But it was just hard for me not being there and feeling so out of control and just knowing that this was it. Like this is just not gonna work anymore. I went through so many emotions when I was there. That's why that New York section of my vlog is only like 4 minutes long. And I think it's because I've cried so much that I am cried out at the moment. But in New York is when we decided that it just like wasn't fair to either of the cats. It wasn't fair for Pickles to be this stressed out. It wasn't fair to Pepper to like be scared, you know, all the time. Again, he wasn't like regularly around him because we had them separated, but it wasn't fair to him. And he seemed pretty sad too after losing Nugget, who was his best friend. It was just fucking hard. So we decided to put feelers out and try to see if we could find a new home for him, and I'm happy to say that he found a home, and it is, again, pride aside, a better home than he would have had here. I never thought that this would be something that I would do. I ride or die for my cats. I love my pets. And Hayden and I both have similar attitudes about rehoming, which is like, of course, you're never going to rehome pets, but I think until you're in that situation, you just really don't know. And it's easy to pass judgment, but like it has been fucking devastating. It's been really, really hard. So I brought him to his new home a few days ago. This person, I mean, couldn't be more perfectly suited for him. A retired woman with no other pets whose 14-year-old dog passed away, and she was looking for a new companion and a new friend. The communications I had with her, I was just overwhelmed with like how well she took care of her pets in the past. She's had cats as well. I could just tell she was something special, and when Hayden read her emails and stuff too, he was like, wow, she's perfect. She lives a mile away from my parents, a singular mile away from my parents in Houston, and she has been texting me every day since I dropped him off with updates and pictures, and just know he's in the right place. It's so hard. Now I'm gonna get teary because there were so many reasons I adopted him. He was an adult cat, and I'm the kind of person that like, I don't want to see pets not get adopted. Like I really like adult cats more than I like kittens, and I just really wanted it to work, and I wanted him to be a part of our house. But unfortunately with Pepper, I know going forward that like adult cats are just not a good fit for him. He's so tiny and so scared, and he's fine around kittens and small cats, but he just can't do like large scary adult cats. And so that's a little bit of a tell me about your cats, is it not? I had to rehome Pickles recently, and that has been really fucking hard, and my house feels so empty with only 2 cats in it. I have not had just 2 cats in my house for 2 years at this point. But if you want to hear about my other 2 cats, I guess I could briefly tell you about them, because I think some of these questions are about my cats. My cats are ragdolls. That was one of the questions. What breed are your cats? They are ragdoll cats. All of my cats have been ragdolls. They're really special to me. I really love the breed, though I will say I love all cats. It's not like I only have to have ragdolls sort of thing, but I do tend to gravitate towards them, and I have a really special connection with the woman that I've gotten my ragdolls from, and so I think that really just like encourages me to get more of them. But the ragdolls, I have Pepper and Teddy at the moment. Those are my only 2 cats. Pepper is like, I guess official government name is Pepe, but we call him Pepper. He is a 5-year-old ragdoll. He is very, very tiny and slight. Inserting a picture of him right here. He's about 8 or 9 pounds, which is very small for a ragdoll, and he's just a skinny little rat. We love him so much. He is the most temperamental of all of our cats in the sense that he loves to cuddle, but he also is very much don't fuck with me. He has like more of the temperament of a female cat, I feel like. He's really funny. And then there's Teddy, who is our big teddy bear. Hayden likes to call him Trout. Is about 13 or 14 pounds. Full of energy, bounces off the walls. That's part of the reason we got Pickles, was to maybe be a playmate for him, so he wouldn't fuck with Pepper as much. Pepper just wants to be left alone, basically. And that, I mean, they were friends. They did get along really well. So again, that was hard. Like pretty hard to know that like he's not gonna have that friend anymore. So those are my 2 cats. Those are the breed of cats. Someone asked, do the cats have favorite snacks? The cats are interesting. Pepper really likes sweet things. He will try to steal an Oreo from you. Obviously, I don't like let him have a, whole Oreo or anything, but I'll let him like lick an Oreo from time to time. And then Teddy, he really, really likes human food. He will try to steal chicken off of your plate or rice or anything savory. Like, he's all about it. He's the worst. Pepper won't really get up on the table when you're eating dinner, but Teddy will try to get up there and like is quick. Those are their favorite snacks. Those are not like things that they have regularly though. I don't feed my cats treats very often, so I don't really have like treat recommendations or anything like that, but when I heard snacks, like that was where my mind went. Favorite and least favorite thing about having cats. I like this question because, well, I love cats, obviously. I'd say my favorite thing about having cats is also part of my least favorite thing. It's kind of like a dual thing. For me, I love the responsibility that cats bring into your life and the sense of routine. Cats crave routine. And as someone who has moderate to severe mental health issues, routine is something that's really important to me as well. And so to know that I have to keep these things alive, these beautiful, beautiful pets alive and thriving and happy, has brought a sense of routine and structure to my life that I need. It's one of my favorite things. Obviously, I love their personalities and I just love them and getting to know them and their unique quirks and traits and things like that. But I think, you know, when I really sit down and think about it, it's the routine that we have and the responsibility that it brings to my life. It really actually is quite a joy. Although it can be one of the hardest things, I would say, about having cats. Like, obviously cleaning up poop on the ground or vomit is just like not super fun. It's just not. But I would say the hardest thing sometimes for someone who, again, has mental health issues is like sticking to that routine when you just want to be in bed and do nothing, knowing that you like have to get out of bed because you have to scoop a litter box, you have to feed them, you have to play with them. It can be hard and overwhelming sometimes, but it's something that I also love. So it's like, yeah, it's a mixed thing there. So this question, if you could own any number of cats, how many would you have? Know that this is not like a final number of cats for me. I know 2 is just, it's so fucking empty in my house and quiet. I think ideally, again, 4 cats would be incredible. I like even numbers. I think that works well for humans and for pets. I mean, obviously every situation is different, but I think ideally 4 would be great. And the situation and just how everything went down, I don't know when I will get more cats next. I know that they will definitely be kittens because, again, I have Pepper and he doesn't really like large animals. He's cool with kittens and he's cool as they age. I mean, like, Teddy is bigger than him and he's fine with Teddy, but we got Teddy as a kitten, so it's a different situation. Yeah, 4 cats ideally. And I think eventually we will probably get a couple of kittens. I don't know when that will be. Honestly, I could see it happening sooner rather than later just simply because of the IVF that we're gonna have to be doing. We have a consult in June after I come back from a vacation, and I can see that kind of going quickly and like being something that happens. And I think having something else to focus on and something else to care about, I think would be really nice. Again, comes back to like my favorite, least favorite thing about cats is the responsibility, and like having something to focus on other than yourself can be really freeing. And I think having some kittens to like go through that with would be pretty nice. Like, but we'll see. I really don't know. 4 cats is like ideal. Yeah, I want some kitties soon, but I'm also trying to give myself some time to like grieve Pickles and just kind of get used to this like new structure. We also have my sister's cats coming stay with us for a week and then leaving for a week and then coming back for a week because she's going on a vacation with me. Hayden's gonna watch the cats and then I'm coming back, and Spencer's going on a vacation and then I'm gonna, again, watch her cats. Her cats will be here and they'll be like hanging out with my cats. I think my sister's youngest cat, Toby, loves other cats, and so does my cat Teddy. So I think Teddy and Toby are gonna have a lot of fun over the next week, and I'm really excited to get updates about that. But since I have those things coming up, I'm not like, oh, I gotta go out and like grab a new kid immediately. So yeah, 4 cats ideally, but like who knows when. Let's move into the less depressing side of things, shall we? Is your dream to be a full-time author? All right, yes, no, I don't know. This is something that I think I'm like kind of grappling with, and I don't want to repeat myself too often, but I found over the past year and a half that I have a passion for so many different things, and I've never fully allowed myself to dream and to expand my dreams past, you know, having a successful YouTube channel because I've been scared. I've been like, well, I'm successful at this and I've been trying so hard, I don't want to give up on this, you know? Changing my attention would be kind of giving up. Like, I just don't, I can't do it. And for so many years, I just let that happen, even though there were other things in the back of my head that I wanted to do. And I would say at the beginning of this year, I was like, you know what? I don't think I could do YouTube forever. I think I want to be a full-time author. That was like my initial instinct. And then more stuff started creeping in, like more stuff that I was excited about and more stuff that I wanted from my life. And I think at this point, I can say pretty confidently that like, I don't want to do anything full-time. Like, I want to be able to do all of my hobbies. I don't think that's realistic necessarily, but like, I want to allow myself to experiment and to give myself the grace to try a bunch of different things because life is too short. I don't know where I got my sense of immortality. I have just always thought to myself, I don't want to leave this planet not having tried everything that I want to try. And that really guides a lot of my decision making. I made a YouTube channel. I was like scared scared, obviously. It's scary to put yourself out there, but I knew you only get one life. Why would I not try to be successful on YouTube? Like, that's always something I thought would be cool. And I think that's given me the confidence to like go and try different things. So at this point, there are a lot of different things that I would like to do. I do very much want to be an author. That is something that I want to commit to doing. It's a big part of my life. Like, I have a passion for writing, and I have been writing my book for a while, and I'll explain more of that in the other questions, but I want to be a writer. I want to be a photographer. I'm starting a photography business with my little sister. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a mom. There's so many different things I want to do. So I don't want to commit and say like, I want to be a full-time author. Not because I don't see that as a part of my life, but because there's so many other things that I want to do additionally. Someone asked how the writing is actually coming along, and frankly, I sort of paused a little bit once we started getting fertility news. It's been hard to focus on things, frankly, just waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting to find out more information. And now that I have more information and kind of know the path ahead, I've been feeling this like itch to start writing again. But I was able to get 25% into my fully outlined book. I outlined the full thing. It took me a few weeks to outline my first book, and then I got 25% into writing it. And I'll be honest with you, during that 25%, I didn't have any roadblocks. I didn't have any times where I was like, I can't do this. And I was shocked at that. I was really assuming this would be challenging and it would be like pulling teeth. But frankly, it has been so fun. Freaking love writing. Like, it's really great. I'm not saying I'm great at it, but it's been really great. And yeah, so I'm 25% in, and I'm actually going on a vacation with my little sister on Saturday. We're going to Florida for a week, 7 full days. I am bringing my laptop, and one of my biggest goals there is to just write. My book is going to be set in the Texas Hill Country near a lake. Florida beach is a little different, but I'm assuming that is going to just like give me all the inspiration and all the vibes that I need to get a lot of this done. My goal is to finish this book before October because I want to write a different book for NaNoWriMo. I have a 3-book series planned. This is the second book in a series of standalones. I'm writing the second one first because it's a dual POV story, whereas the first book in this series is a 3 POV story, which is going to be more challenging to write, obviously. So I wanted to give myself the easier challenge first. But for Nano, I want to write that like polyamorous 3-person story. Writing's good. Trying to just do it when I feel like it and also be committed. It's been a challenge, but like not the writing itself. It's just like finding the time to really commit to it. Last writing question. Would you ever do a writing or NaNoWriMo vlog? Yes. I think so. I don't know if I will vlog Nano. My goal for NaNoWriMo and for the month of November, NaNoWriMo, by the way, is National Novel Writing Month, I believe, those who don't know, and it's a time where people really commit to writing a full book basically in a month. I, for the month of November, was really hoping to have a lot of content pre-planned, pre-filmed, like ready to go, so that y'all would not see a change in content, but that I wouldn't have to do anything in November except for write. And I'm still hoping to do that, so it's like, do I want to commit to also vlogging? I was like really looking forward to just taking a break. I don't know, we'll see. I'll probably do at least one Nano vlog just to kind of like show y'all how it's going, and I'll probably start including writing in my lifestyle updates as well. It's felt weird to put the writing updates in like a reading vlog because I know as someone who is a reader first, I don't really care about writing stuff, or at least I didn't care about writing stuff when I was just a reader, and so I don't want to make people sit through that if they just want book content. So I will probably include writing updates in vlogs, even if I don't do committed or like dedicated Nano vlogs. All right, and then the last 2 categories. First one's Taylor Swift. I got 2 Taylor Swift related questions, so I figured might as well make it a category. How was the Taylor Swift concert? It was so good. I went to night 1 in Houston, and it was delightful. Besides the surprise songs not being like my favorite, I had such a good time with my little sister. I guess I didn't realize how much Taylor Swift was like a bond for us, but I listened to a lot of Taylor Swift growing up, and I guess my sister kind of picked up on that, and she did this thing where she would like write down Taylor Swift lyrics in her notebook to like memorize them and stuff, and Taylor Swift has become a really big part of her life, and she's an even bigger Swiftie than I am. Yeah, I didn't realize until recently like how much that really connected us and bonded us, and it was just really special to like go with her. We've gotten really close over the past couple of years as well. Like, she is my best friend at this point, and yeah, so it was like great because the concert was great, but it's also really great to like go with my sister and have this experience together. I think that was probably the most special part, so it was really great. I loved it. We had great seats and a great time. And then someone asked how I got the Taylor Swift Fearless vinyl, like the original platinum edition. I went to a record store with Hayden in New York. I cannot remember the name of it. I'll put the name of it right here if I can remember, or like if I can find it, into this incredible record shop, and I was just like throwing records at Hayden, like, we need this, we need this, we need this. And then I saw that record like on the wall. It was the last one, and yeah, I scored it. It wasn't too expensive. I think it was like $45, and I think you can still get them like secondhand for not too expensive, but it was really special. Fearless is my favorite album. I love Taylor's version, but I do kind of like the original better. It's just like so nostalgic for me because that was like the original. Yeah, it's just really special to have it. It's in Hayden's office with all of the other records that we own, and I think Hayden looked recently and was able to find them for not very expensive, so They're not that hard to find, I think. Fingers crossed. And then lastly, let's talk about lifestyle. I have quite a few lifestyle questions here, and I'm excited to answer them. The first one is something that has been bringing you joy lately. That is really tough because things have been really hard. Oh, okay, I guess this is something fun. I am getting a new car soon, and I have been following the process of like when I'm gonna get this car. I like ordered it, I'm getting information on like when it's gonna be ready and like when it can be picked up, and that stuff's like changing every day, and I've been really excited about that. It's just like a little thing that's bringing me joy, although a car is like kind of a big thing, but that has been really exciting. Also just like looking forward to vacations. I'm not a big traveler, but I've been planning travel for this year. I'm going to Disney with Hayden later this year. And I'm not a Disney adult, but Disney adults have sucked me in, y'all. I have been watching so much Disney content over the past year as like comfort watches. I know some people really like ASMR or like have some sort of like niche thing that brings them comfort. And for me, it's been Disney adult content, you know? It really convinced me to go to Disney. So the idea of travel and the idea of like having things to look forward to has been really nice, especially again, considering that like I've got some not so fun stuff that's gonna be happening in the near future. So like having that kind of stuff to look forward to has been nice. Yeah. Travel, new car, like those are exciting things. Those have been bringing me joy. All right, I really liked this question because this is one of my niche interests. Favorite perfume and candles. I am a scenty girl. If you come into my house, it smells good. I'm gonna be honest. Even though I have a shitload of pets, 2 dogs, 2 cats at this point, my house smells pretty good. Not to brag, but it smells great. I love like Bath & Body Works wallflowers. I like candles. It is fragrant in here. Am I combusting carcinogens? For sure, but like it smells good, so that's what matters. Okay. Favorite perfumes. I would say at the moment my favorite would be Byredo. It's like a more indie, I guess, perfume house, and I really love their fragrances. I have 5 at this point. Pretty much all of their perfumes I really enjoy, but my favorite at the moment is La Tulipe. It has a rhubarb note that is just so sharp and kind of green. I don't know, I just really like that fragrance. It's a very clean scent. It makes me happy every time I spray it and wear it, and I really, really like that. Another perfume that I like, I'm actually wearing right now. I made custom perfume in New York with Hayden. I knew that that was like a thing you could do in other places. I looked it up. There's a place called Olfactory in New York, and we went and made our own custom fragrances, and it was so fun. So the one that I made that I'm wearing right now is a very fig heavy scent. So it smells like the fig tree in my grandpa's backyard. It's so green and so fresh. I like that it's custom to me. Like I got to kind of put this scent together. So yeah, those I would say are like my 2 favorite. I tend to lean towards fresher scents, but I have a shitload of perfume, honestly. Let me know if you want like a perfume tour or whatever. At some point I could do that because I like sharing fragrance. And then in terms of candles, that one's tough for me. I would say like my 2 favorite candle brands at the moment are Novel Wicks, obviously for like bookish candles. They're wood wick candles, and they tend to have like, I would say, fairly unique scents. And then I also really like Anchored Northwest, which is another sort of like, you know, smaller indie brand. They did a collaboration with Taylor Wynn in the past, like a laundry scented candle and like a trio of candles for her. Those were delightful, and I just got really into how unique and how layered and complex those fragrances are. So I need to get more candles from them, but those are like probably my favorite brands, and like a lot of different scents, to be honest. Like I lean towards fresh scents, but like I kind of like everything. I'm not very picky. If you could travel anywhere, where would it be? This one's tough for me. I think that has changed over the years, but I would say the most immediate thing that I would like to do, like the top of my list for international travel, would be traveling to the United Kingdom. I studied history when I was in university. I just really have a desire to visit England and Scotland and Ireland and just explore the different like topography and beauty of nature, but also the different historical sites and things like that would be just so nice. Like I really like that idea. And one of my best friends is engaged to a man who lives in London, and I actually really like the idea of going whenever she is in London, so like she can take me around to like more of the cool non-historical kind of things. So that's something I would like to do in the near future, but there are places on literally every continent that I'd like to visit. So excited to do that in the future, and I'm really excited that there are so many different people who are subscribed to me, and I'm definitely gonna put my feelers out when I do some international travel and like things I must see in different places. So all right, last few. Are you going to move house someday soon? I feel like I sort of hinted at it that we have a desire to move, but I just don't know how soon that will actually happen given so many different lifestyle things. It's like we're doing IVF here in Austin. We kind of have to be here for that. Also, the economy is nuts, and home prices and interest rates are also nuts. It would be hard, I guess, to justify moving. That being said, we do have a really big desire to be closer to our family once we do have children, because both of our families live in the Houston area, and it would just be nice to be able to like have our kids grow up near their grandparents. Neither Hayden nor I really were super close to our grandparents growing up because we didn't live super close to them, and that's something that we both look back on and think like, oh, it would have been cool to be closer with our grandparents and have better relationships there. So that's something that we would like to do, and also we like our parents, so we would like to be close to them. So Houston eventually, but I don't know how soon that would be. I would say in the next 5 years. Someone asked what my workout schedule is, which, you know, bold of you to assume that I have like a consistent workout schedule. Lately, I would say I have been enjoying cardio more than I have been enjoying weightlifting, which is really rare and weird for me because I love weightlifting. But my current like split, I guess you could say, is to walk 3 days a week and to do full body lifting 3 days a week. So like every other day, kind of breaking things up that way. I haven't been that consistent over the past like week or so because we've been traveling, but I'm excited to get back to that this week. When I'm in Florida, Spencer and I have plans to go on a lot of hot girl walks, which should be fun. I've been seeing a lot of like mental health improvement when I consistently exercise. So it's something that I definitely want to continue on with, especially as I, you know, go through IVF. There's obviously parts of that journey where you're not allowed to exercise, but I know it helps keep my mental health sharp. So for the times when I am allowed to work out, I want to be actually doing that because it makes me feel a lot better. So that's kind of my current setup, is just like walk some, full body exercises some. And when I say full body exercise, I go to a gym and lift weights to do that. I'm not like a body weight exercise girl, although that's not a bad thing. So yeah, that's kind of like my workout schedule. And then the last question is, are you doing okay? And I actually got this a few times from various different people, and I just want to say thank you for asking that question. It is always refreshing and like nice to know that I'm not just like a machine to people online. I mean, I know that's not the case. I know so many of y'all care, and I really like so appreciate that. That's always nice to be asked like how I'm doing. And you know what? I'm doing okay. Things are hard, obviously. I am still grieving the loss of Pickles. I mean, he is very much alive and well and probably doing very, very well without me, but I'm still grieving that loss. I'm still very sad about it. I'm still dealing emotionally with the IVF stuff. I haven't cried for a while, for like a week or two about the IVF stuff, which is really nice, but I'm giving myself like space to cry when I need to and space to be emotional when I need to and give myself breaks when I need to. So I'm doing okay. I think I'm learning healthy coping skills as I age and learning how to take care of myself even when it's hard. I didn't have those skills when I first started YouTube. I would stay up till like 1 a.m. editing videos and not eat well, not take care of myself. I think now I'm doing more of that, and so I'm able to say with some confidence, even when things are hard, that I am okay. I mean, that's it. That's the last question. I hope that this was illuminating to y'all in some ways. I hope I answered the questions y'all wanted me to answer. I think I answered almost everybody's question. I did have a few like book questions, but frankly, I didn't want to talk about books today, and it was really nice not to have to. The only request that I have from you, my lovely viewers, is that if you are someone who is currently dealing with infertility or who has dealt with infertility in the past, if you could please not provide advice in the comments, I would very much appreciate that. I will ask for advice when I am ready for that advice, or when I have questions, but at this moment, I am very much okay with like how things are. I don't have answers yet. I don't have questions yet. I just need to like sit with the things that I'm sitting with. My only real request, but I really do love y'all so much. I'm really grateful for your support, and yeah, I hope to not have to ever do one of these again. I mean, hopefully not for a very long time. Hopefully nothing major happens in the next couple of years, but yeah, I'm grateful for y'all and grateful that y'all are here for this journey with me, and look forward to some lifestyle vlogs ahead. There's going to be a Florida lifestyle vlog coming, and that should be a lot more uplifting and exciting. So, you know, thanks so much for watching. I love y'all so much, and until next time.